everyone. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Hansel. I'm here with my bestie buddy, Wayne. We wrote a book, which, like this podcast, is also called theCoderBros, Go to White Castle. You can find it on Amazon now, if you want. It's a book about our story, how we grew up Asian, how we became best friends, and how we found our White Castle. Only our destination wasn't a fast food joint, but an awesome little business called The Coder School that we now run together. So we started this podcast to find out what other Asian Americans think of as their own White Castle. So anyway, let's just get to it. Wayne, who do we got on tap today?
All right. Our guest today was born in Taiwan, moved to and grew up in Overland Park, Kansas from the age of 10, and even went to the University of Kansas. So go Jayhawks. We'll hear all about that. Made his way to the Bay Area, now living in San Francisco, where he's the owner of Blue Danube Coffee House and a few other small businesses, which we're going to find out about as well. So let's welcome Jimmy Sue.
What's up, Jimmy?
Thanks,
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for being on, man. I left all the dog whistles and all that stuff. Wayne, you got some.
Yeah, no, you're looking hot. Looking hot. Some cat calling there. Yeah.
Well, man, let's jump in, Jimmy. So talk a bit about yourself, where you're at, and if you want to talk about your White Castle now, cool. If not, we'll get into it.
All right. Well, like you guys said, I was raised in Kansas. I was born in Taiwan, but I was raised in Kansas. So I actually have a tattoo of Kansas right here, and with Taiwan and
Like right on the tricep, I think. I was listening.
That's legit, man. Let's see. Is it like the outline?
So I have Taiwan, California, Kansas.
Oh,
and
cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
For those on the listening, it's like a map. So it shows all the three.
At 2008 was a really good year of my life, and I wanted to do it then because I felt like Kansas is the biggest one because that's really who I am, where I grew up. I mean, of course, I'm from Taiwan. I'm Taiwanese. I'm proud of it extremely, but I became a man in Kansas, so I wanted to have Kansas be the bigger part of my life versus California, which eventually is.
And when you say became a man,
you're not in Kansas anymore.
When you say became a man, are we talking virginity or just like,
all of it?
Oh.
So the identity is the core of it is Kansas. I identify with, the like where that part of life where I grew up to keep, who I am as an Asian American. And even though I'm not born here, but I still consider myself Asian American because of that.
So born in Taiwan, you were in Taiwan, went to, I guess, school until you were 10, I think you said.
Yes.
And then straight to Kansas.
Yep.
So how did you guys get to Kansas?
No English at all. I mean, my dad was importer exporter, and he's a self-employed businessman, and he wanted to always bring his children to Western society to for better education and whatnot, and found an opportunity with his college buddy who was doing Asian grocery business, importing Asian grocery business, and that was kind of our way in, a foot in the door of establishing our family firmly in United States, and then they picked Kansas as the location as into it and being
what made you guys? I mean, because I grew up in Iowa. We were talking before. I grew up in Iowa.
Right.
I remember there were these tiny little stores. They were pretty small, and it's some import export.
Yeah.
Like, what made your parents go Kansas? That's where I'm going. Why not go to California or New York?
Like I said, they had one of his college best friends was already there, and the opportunity, like I said, when they were importing, they saw a growth opportunity in importing the Asian grocery business and then eventually opening a bigger grocery store. It's not just like a little mom and pop. So they did open up like a bigger grocery store. I don't want to say like not as quite as big as Ranch 99 per se, but maybe a quarter size of that. It's not just like a little.
But there was a market then. There was Asians looking for. Yeah.
I tell people this all the time. It's kind of like what you guys from Iowa and Alabama, like people always like, I can't imagine there are any Asian people there. Well, I tell people there's not as many as you think, but there's more than there actually is.
Yeah, they come out of the woodwork. If you set up a store, they come out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
they come
you set up a store. Come find it.
So it sounds like your parents were definitely pretty entrepreneurial, right? I mean, they came up and did all this thing. That sounds like that led. I mean, eventually, let's get to what you're doing now. You're telling us you got like what 4 or 5 small businesses you run.
5. Yeah,
that's insane. So you clearly a serial entrepreneur. So start us first at where you're at, and then we'll kind of go backwards and talk a bit about history after that.
Okay, well, as of now, like I said, I run five small businesses. I have a coffee shop to start with, and then my wife and I have a salon. My wife Ashley have a salon, and then my one of my partners actually is friends with Ken, who I know Ken from Joe. He's my contractor, but he's one of my best friends, and he and I and my wife has a laundromat, and then next to the laundromat is a small custom print shop. We do like direct to garment, things like that, and my partner there used to work for me at the coffee shop. And
Hmm.
then, like I said, the most recent one is
Wow.
the bake shop that we just opened, not this past December, but the December before that. And it was our partner is through another mutual friend that I have from a customer that I had in at the coffee shop. And then turns out we had my wife even had a mutual friend of hers from Boston, and just you know how it grows. And then we decided to go into the
That's
bake.
insane.
Yeah, so
So,
we
so you
we
started with
we
the
are
coffee shop, then it
yeah.
was the hair salon, then there's a print shop, then there's a bagel shop, and what was the
Yeah.
other one?
Laundromat.
And a
Laundromat.
Laundromat.
laundromat and
Holy cow.
Laundromat
a
is
print shop
actually
even?
the location for three of the businesses because the landlord there I met when I first started the coffee shop. So he knew me. I've known him for 16 years. I was a customer there. And so he wanted to retire. He came asking me to see if I want to take over his business.
Oh,
That's how I
wow.
got the laundromat. Yeah, I didn't really want to own a
And
laundromat.
you were like,
I didn't.
oh, I got nothing else to
Yeah,
do.
you were like, I
Well,
don't want to own a laundromat. I'm Asian. And then everybody's going to be like,
that's
dude,
true. It kind of fit
right?
the profile,
You got
but
to
I
fit the
actually said
profile.
no. I actually said no because my son Cosmo was 4 months old at the time, and I was just really busy. I wanted to spend more time with my family, and then I asked him like, "Hey, can I think about it?" He says, "No, I actually need to know today." I'm like, "Why? What do you mean today?"
Today.
Right. And
That's
he's like, "Well,
crazy.
I got a lot of people that want to buy my business, but I like you, and I've known you, and I see how you run your other two businesses, and I rather have you as my tenant." I said, well, I'm touched, I'm flattered. Can I look at it? So I looked at it, and that place is burned down. It had burned down for a year, which is why he wanted to retire. He didn't want to rebuild it. So I'm thinking, gosh, that's going to cost me a lot of money. I'm not sure I want to invest in this. So then he goes, well, I don't think I want this, Felix. And then he's like, well, let me show you the basement. I'm like, what? There's a basement here? And so I looked at the basement, and it was just like, he stores a lot of old clothes in there. And the light bulb popped up in my head where I wanted to do a print shop with one of
Oh,
my
wow.
employees at the coffee shop. We have been looking for a small print shop because that's what he went to school for. And to be honest with you, my passion back in the day when I was in college was, I used to love to draw and I like to, create and things like that. And so I used to iron my own t-shirts when I was in college
Oh,
and
wow.
Iron-ons.
stuff. And so when he told me that he does screen printing, I was like, oh my God, that's what I really want to do. And if you ever want to go into business, I'd love to be your partner. I'll fund it and do whatever. He was pretty young at the time. He's like 26, I think, at the time when we first started. So we found a spot, and then I said, "Hey, I think I can do the print shop
So
here."
you bought the laundromat when it was burned down, meaning like
Yeah.
you had to rebuild it back, but it came
Yes.
with the basement. So you did both at the same time, the basement
Yeah.
print shop
Yeah.
and then the laundromat up top rebuilding it. That's
Yes. And
insane.
Genius.
I
That's a
asked
great
him if I
idea.
could do whatever I want to the space. I can carve it out, do it. He's like, "Well, that's why I asked you because I know what you can do." And so I'm saying, "Okay." So on the spot, I said, "I'll take it." Then I called my wife, and I said, "Hey, guess what? I bought a laundromat."
You didn't even check with her first. That's
No,
that's
no, no.
you're
I don't need to check with her. She
Like,
trusts
I'm
me.
coming home with a laundromat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now.
And
So
then
how are
yeah.
you taking care of five businesses? I mean, you even have time to talk to us, but I mean, do you hire it all out, or how often do you go into the
Well,
businesses?
I'm fortunate that I have amazing partners, number one, and then on top of that, I have amazing staff. To me, every business is only as good as your staff are. I mean, that's just my
Yeah,
personal opinion.
yeah.
So I have amazing staff, I have amazing partners. Albeit I still do a lot of stuff. I mean, I do my own books for all five businesses. I do, I
That's
just,
got to be confusing.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
can
got to
You're
be
be,
gonna be
like,
crazy,
like,
man.
oh,
especially,
this shirt
yeah. Well,
which business does
Yeah.
this shirt go to? Like,
this past weekend, I had to get all my ducks in a row for all the taxes stuff. That's the
yeah,
most
yeah, yeah,
difficult part of the time when you got to get your taxes ready and get that shit to your accountant and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So, that takes a lot of my time, of course.
At
But
least you use an accountant. First, I was like, are you gonna like say
I
that
do my own
you do it
taxes.
yourself? TurboTax, baby.
I almost thought about it, but
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, you're not that cheap of an agent.
yeah,
No, not
the Asian
anymore.
side.
But I
Yeah.
outsource that. So with that
Right
said,
on.
yeah, I miss being at the coffee shop 8 hours a day, working and
Wow.
making drinks and food
So,
and
so you don't go in and
food.
actively do your business now, right? They're
I
all
still
run
I
by
go to
somebody,
my business every day only because it's right. They're all in the same
but not
block.
to actively run it, just to
Yeah, yeah.
be there and make sure everything's good.
Yeah. And then, well, I still work it when they need me, the coffee
Okay.
shop. And then all of us used to take a shift at the laundromat because we do wash and fold and such. So we all took a shift when we first started. But now we have
Yeah.
staff that works it
So,
out.
so for any of these, like it's you didn't have experience in the business itself. So, like, did you even know how to wash and fold? I mean, any of that
Yeah.
stuff, or
Oh,
before you started the coffee
none,
thing, like, what's
none.
coffee?
I didn't even drink coffee when I first started
That's
the
Yeah, I
company.
was
crazy.
about to
So all on the
say.
fly. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my friends are all making fun of me. Like, Jimmy, you don't even drink. Do you even know what a latte is?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I
Right.
didn't. I didn't. All I wanted was I wanted to actually I wanted to open a restaurant all my life. I'm a big food guy. I like to cook. I like to, like I
Mm.
said, get my hands dirty. I'm a very, hands-on kind of guy. So I've always wanted to work for myself. So I want to be in the restaurant business. But so the coffee shop came up, and the story behind that is the guy that owns Burma Superstar was a buddy of mine that we used to work together at a startup recruiting business. And
And that's just like
unfortunately,
some big restaurant in
it
that area is a
it
famous
is now.
restaurant, right? Okay.
He's grown. He's a really good business guy. So sadly, we're no longer friends to some other degrees, but he has Burma Love, Burma Club. He started a different kind of Burma Superstar franchise
Yeah.
company. He owns it all. So he asked me when he first bought Burma Superstar to be his manager, and I was so excited. I went all in. But after 3 months, I was like, I was only 26 at the time. I'm like, I'm just not ready. I want to spend time with this girl that I just met and things like that. And then I didn't want to be unfair to my friend, my buddy. So I told him, to be fair, I won't take this on because it's just not cool to you. I'm not
Yeah.
committed. So fast forward 3 years later, I was single now. And then he had called and says, "Hey, Jimmy, I got a coffee shop across the street. I want to buy it. This time I want you to be my partner." And,
Mm.
that's kind of like
So,
my
so what
wife.
does that mean? Be a partner, like you're going to go in and run it, and you're the manager, and like
Yes.
telling people what to do. Okay.
Yeah, like equity
So
partner.
it
I
was
got to
an
put in the
existing
money.
coffee shop.
Yes, the existing coffee shop, right.
But this
Oh,
time
okay. So
equity and ownership,
Yes.
I guess,
Yeah,
versus
before it's just like general
just a
manager,
job.
right, it's his job. But I wasn't against that because I was only 26 at the time. So again,
Right.
fast forward 3 years later, like I said, this time, he wanted me to kind of be the working partner. And so we decided to add another partner as a three-person partner, but it didn't work out. So I eventually bought them out eventually.
Oh, wow.
so you basically got started with all of these businesses with the cafe that somebody
Yeah.
brought you into a current existing cafe and you brought into,
Yes.
and so you learned the business by, I guess,
Being
doing the
hands-on.
business.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
making
Just doing it,
coffee
huh?
and
So the
lattes.
Yeah.
first day you're like, dude, what does this machine do? Like,
Pretty
how do
much.
I pour?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Triple
Yeah.
Yeah.
mocha latte, and you're like, what? And then all those weird swirls and all the things. Like, you must have
Yeah.
just totally navigated
Yeah.
it.
Put in your own Jimmy swirl.
And then
That's a good one.
that first job, though, you said you kind of didn't take it after 3 months because you were pursuing a girl. What? I guess that she dumped you right after that.
Well, that's another hour-long story separately. But she moved to New York and went to
Ah,
grad school in Columbia, and then just
so
fizzled
you
out.
just quit your job for her.
I wanted to be a firefighter at the time. I was actually trying to be a
Oh,
firefighter
wow.
in
Wow.
San Francisco, and I and
You're
I
all over
passed
the
the
map.
test. I
Yeah.
passed the test to where you start out with the written test in a city of like 12,000 people. I think this is like 1999. So I started out with like 12,000 people and then narrowed down to like an oral interview. And then after that, you do a physical. So after the physical test, they trimmed it down to 400. So I was on that 400 list. And they had guaranteed us at the time that everybody on the list would have been selected to become a firefighter, different classes, however many classes they take, whatnot. So I was waiting for that, and while I was waiting for that, the coffee shop business came up, and so I jumped into that. But I did let my partners know that, hey, I'm on the wait list for the San Francisco firefighter. If I get in, I'm gonna do it because I invested a lot of time into this.
But it sounds like you kind of never looked back and you did that first business and then you started opening other businesses after that. How long
Yeah,
before that second business?
the second business took a while. I mean, like I said, it was only 10 years ago. So yeah, 11 years after my first business, I guess, we
Oh,
went into the
wow.
second business. Right. So I held just a coffee shop for over 10 years. You
Wow.
know.
Okay. And then you
Yeah.
just started cranking like a mother and just decided
Oh,
to like
no,
Yeah, exactly.
it's been very fortunate, right? A lot of luck has to happen in your life for you to, have these opportunity present to you, right? So
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate, like I said, in my life and meet the right people and having the right opportunity, and I'm was prepared enough to pull the trigger, right?
But I
So
think,
Yeah.
yeah, I was about to say pull the trigger. I mean, that's putting it mildly. Like, I think you got to have the balls to take the risk. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
it
The
is
balls to pull the
risky.
trigger. That's crazy.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
for you.
seriously. And the one where they give you 1 day turnaround, you got to have some pretty nut balls to just in 1 day make such a life-altering like decision, you know?
Yeah,
So
is
I
that,
think,
that so that meant putting your name on the lease because I mean maybe you got some of his customers, but that's the liability, right, of getting your name on the lease. That's crazy.
for sure, I mean, that becomes a lot of responsibility, right? And,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and whatnot. But like I said, I mean, fortunately, the locations are right next to my other two businesses. So decision
yeah.
is a little easier than as opposed to like traveling across town. Or I actually
that's
had another
true.
coffee shop in Alameda with my first partner at the coffee shop. I eventually bought her out, but we had another coffee shop in Alameda because she lived there. So
Hmm.
eventually I just didn't like going over to Alameda, so we sold it
Yeah.
right before 2000, I think 2016, 2017 is when we sold it.
So all your businesses now are like kind of in that San
Literally
Francisco. It's
on
not
that
really
block.
Chinatown, but it's like the Chinese area, right?
Right, right. Literally on
So
4th and Clement. They're the other
are
three corners on
Right,
4th
it's
and
the other Chinatown is what I
the other
call it, sort
Chinatown,
of.
that's right. All
Yeah.
right, so
Yeah.
are all of your this is kind of like is it the older like what are your clientele like there? Is it like all Asian or
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I
no?
mean, we like to obviously cater to everybody. Obviously, me being
Sure.
Asian, I love my people and I'm grateful for the
Yeah.
community support and such. But we wanted to create a business that appease all, So that's all I've always wanted to do. I like, making sure that we don't, segregate in any way, shape, or
Yeah,
form.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely can't do that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So.
So I mean, dang, man, you're so entrepreneurial, which is a little bit opposite of what a lot of people expect Asians to do, right? They expect Asians to do the doctor lawyer route. So go back in time and tell us a bit more about your background and you're growing up. Your parents make you want to be an entrepreneur, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm the youngest of three. So my brother is a PhD, doctorate. He's
Oh,
about
see, that's the typical, that's what you're supposed to do
Yeah.
as an Asian.
exactly.
Come
So he was
on.
on track to become a doctor or whatever, things like that. My
Yeah.
sister, my sister Gloria is a concert pianist. So
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Double
that's
check
another
marks.
classic.
exactly.
So,
So again, she's retired now, but she teaches in piano in Kansas still. But so then that was left with me, and then they just got tired of me, and they're like, Jimmy, you can do whatever you want. We don't care. And I was kind of
yeah,
like the black sheep of
we've
family.
already had two winners. You can do
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. And I was really, to be fair, I was the least obedient anyway. Like I was kind of like the
Yeah.
black sheep of family. I didn't really listen to my mom and my dad,
Hmm.
and I kind of did my thing. I was kind of like the trouble kid. Not really
Yeah.
trouble kid, but for Asian
Right.
family, trouble enough.
You got a
Right.
B.
Right.
I get B's. I get B's and C's.
For
That's
Asian
not
family, it just means you actually didn't stay at home on Friday and Saturday night. You
exactly. I
actually,
went to the
went
football games with
out.
everybody else, you
Yeah.
know? So
Right.
so that's how yeah. So, my dad did business and kind of just like I never really thought I would do what I do today, to be honest. I didn't have any goals. I'm not gonna lie. So
Yeah.
so kind of segue off to my first White Castle moment, if you wanted to segue off to that,
Yeah.
is me moving here is
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
packing up my stuff. I tried to save $3,000 was my goal to move here in
Well,
1997.
so even before that, like what? So you were in Kansas. This is post graduation. You
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of money in your pocket, and you
No.
decided, hey, I'm just going to go to California. Why California?
Well, I was either going to be New York or California, and it was
Okay.
actually really set on going to New York because New York City is still my favorite city in the world.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends in New York City, and so I wanted to go there. And I have one friend. I went to this the Chinese language study tour they call AKA the Love Boat. You know,
Sure. My wife went on
Yeah.
there. A
We've
bunch
all
of
heard
people
of
went on
that.
there. Sure.
exactly, right?
So you went on
So,
that.
so I had a friend that I met there that that went to Stanford, and she was graduating, but she's from New York. And so I just called her to just chat, and we're all graduating. Congratulations, we're all what are you gonna do? She's like, "Oh, I'm going back to New York because I'm going to med school." And I'm like, "Oh, I want to move to New York and things like that." She goes, I knew you come to New York. We have a lot of fun. You hang out, whatever. But I don't see you as a New York guy because you like to talk, you like outdoors, you all stuff. Why don't you come out to San
Yeah.
Francisco? And I
There you
never
go.
been here. I never been here. And I've been to LA many times, and I just didn't want to go to LA because I just don't really like traffic, whatever.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
and my friend said, I have a roommate right now that's looking for a roommate. If you don't mind living with a girl, then the place she could look for a place set up for you, and then you can move here. So I thought about it for a little bit, and I said, you know
Wow.
what? Fuck it, let's do it. So
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So
completely
you're
just
just like a couple
went.
$1,000s. I'm just gonna hit it. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
how much was rent? Was it like just a couple $100 or
Like
something?
I think it was like 680 at the time.
Okay. So you didn't have a job or anything lined up. You were
No,
just
no,
like,
I did not. I had
dude,
no
wow.
job. I drove out here with
That's
my best friend. All my
crazy.
friends are doctors. So my best friend is a doctor in LA, but he worked out a rotation at UCSF. And then so he drove out with me and then stayed at our apartment for the first month. You know,
Oh,
Nice.
wow. That's
he drove out
perfect.
with me. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's how I
So
know.
once you got here, what did you do? How did you find anything?
So
How
I
did
turns out I had a cousin that went to Berkeley. So then he was still at Berkeley, so I went to see him. And then when I was at Berkeley, I saw a career fair flyer, like
Oh.
on Monday, let's say. I can't remember the day. So I said, "Why I have to come back? I have no job, so I
I
gotta
need
go to
a
the career
job.
fair."
Yeah. Heck
I
yeah.
came back and I talked to many companies in my suit. What I brought one suit.
Right, right. You got your suit on.
Of course, you got to
Yeah.
get on your resume, all that. And then I talked to this recruiting company out in Oakland called Aerotech. And I didn't really want to go to Oakland, so I kind of held off looking for others as well and things like that. And then my money was slow, quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only
Not
had
slow.
3K.
Yeah. Well, no, I my goal was 3K. I came up
Oh,
with 1,500.
oh my.
Yeah. So
That's
enough that
insane.
I figured I could have 1 month of, just living.
Yeah.
And I told Hansel that earlier that I was down to nothing and I called my sister and my sister loaned me $1,000 and
There
I
you
said,
Yeah.
go.
get me through
I mean,
next
just
month.
like the big picture of that, right? From going from that White Castle where you just moved to California with nothing in your pocket,
Yeah.
and then now you're like super successful with all these,
Serial
all these companies that
entrepreneur.
are.
Yeah. All
That's
these
Well,
businesses.
amazing. Congrats on that for sure.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. But I success is relative term, right? So I'm happy and that's good enough for me. But with that said, it's like, my sister got me through and then I decided to take the job in Oakland. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you gotta make ends meet. So I did that for a year. I met amazing people, and then some of the like job traits that I learned from recruiting, making cold calls, making sales calls, and all that got me to where I am today. To be honest with you, I was a horrible recruiter, if I could be frank about it. Just like I was too young. I wasn't that confident in phone skills, just speaking skills,
Oh
whatnot.
yeah.
And so
Hard.
you
Right.
develop out here, right? So I met
Yeah.
amazing people, which led me to, another job downtown, which led me to working with my buddy that owns Burma Superstar, eventually bought Burma Superstar. And then,
Yeah.
so all
Right.
linked
And you
together,
did, it
it's
all
all
just
like,
kind of
yeah,
fell into place.
That
exactly.
sales skills, man. I mean, it's so sort of like underappreciated, especially
Very
for us Asians
underrated.
who are
Very
never
underrated.
good at it. But
Yeah.
like all the people who are like at the top of the world, they have such good networking skills. It's all about who you know, who you meet, and what kind of opportunities you can find.
Very
So good
true,
for
man.
you,
A lot of
man.
it is.
And having the
Yeah.
balls to pull the trigger.
Yeah, having the
Having
balls.
the balls is pretty good. Yeah.
Because that's a huge one. I'm telling you, as Asians, and myself included, I mean,
Yeah.
it's very scary because you're raised to
That's
just
right.
have that job and have a health plan,
Now we were talking about that
401k.
on another podcast, right, Wayne? We were like, the Asians aren't grown to have balls.
No
Our
way.
whole
I think
mentality is
I
safe.
It's
tell
to
people
take the safe job and
true,
security,
very true.
you
And like I
know?
said, my brother and sister are accomplished in their own rights, right? So I think what I've told people that I credit to my fearlessness or uh feeling of not being afraid to fail from
Hmm.
my upbringing of not getting straight A's. Like I didn't really
There you
like
go.
I don't care
There's
if I
a
don't get
plus
an
for
A.
that.
Who does that matter to? Like as long as I'm
Yeah.
comfortable, that's all that matters. I don't, and I'm not that I'm failing or accepting failure, but I wasn't really afraid of not achieving my goal all the time, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I was just
Good
comfortable
for
with that,
Good for you, man, because the Bay Area does not have that feeling where
Oh yeah,
everybody's like, you got to get the A's, you got to make the
that's
money,
yeah.
all that stuff.
Well,
exactly.
they'll say
So
right off the bat, if you aren't getting straight A's, you're not even going to get into college, So right off the bat,
preaching to the
it's a
choir, same things.
it's a lot of
Asian
pressure,
people.
though. I think the kids are feeling a lot of pressure because of
Very.
it.
And
So,
especially, I don't know about you in Alabama and Iowa, like obviously like the Asian community there, majority of the families there are all not even first generation, they're immigrants, right?
Yeah.
And they're more upper middle class. Everybody's fairly affluent to some degree, where they focus so much on, education and craft like piano, violin, and the stereotypical stuff like we all did, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you don't get straight A's, or if you don't go to medical school, or you don't go to Johns Hopkins or Harvard, which all my friends did, just so you know, I'm the
Yeah, my
guy that
brother went to Johns Hopkins. Funny you
there
just
you go,
mentioned
there
those
you
things.
go.
There you go.
So
There
it's
you
funny.
go.
Yeah,
And my
so
sister
so
went to Berkeley, so there you go.
you guys fit right into to where your parents probably would have told you that you can't hang out with Jimmy Sue because you hang out.
Yeah. Yeah, you would be the one that they're like,
Yeah,
He's the
hey,
guy.
don't go
you're
hanging
not
out with
allowed to hang
him.
out with Jimmy because he gets B's and C's. I'm telling
Yeah,
you right now.
Jimmy's not a good influence. Bad influence.
So,
I'm
so
not
come,
kidding. You think I'm kidding? I was that kid in the Chinese community, you
So
know?
talk more about the Asian side. So we were talking before about how you used to date all Asians. So okay, so you came
Yeah,
from Kansas, where it's pretty white. You came
yeah.
to San Francisco. When I came to San Francisco first, I was like, "Holy cow, there's Asians everywhere! This is my scene. This is like where I belong."
Yeah.
Did you feel any of that, or I mean, because it's suddenly
No,
70% Asian.
absolutely. But you guys, like I said, you guys remember, I grew up in Taiwan. So I
Oh,
don't
okay,
Okay.
have the
Yeah,
experience
so
of
you've seen that.
being immersed in all Asian, right? So I feel very comfortable in that realm and
gotcha.
surrounding. So I wanted that. That's why I wanted to move to New York, and I found out obviously San Francisco predominantly Asian too. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it had to be one of those for me after college.
Got it.
So when
And
I
so you
got
were
to
dating
college,
predominantly Asians, you said. So
what's
that
that?
like you're dating almost. So currently you are married to Greek American, you said.
Greek
So
American.
basically
Greek
white person
American.
Yeah,
Basically
right.
Caucasian.
or
Caucasian.
Caucasian. We'll say
Caucasian.
Caucasian.
Yeah.
But you said
Yeah.
that you had dated a lot of Asian before. So what kind of changed? Were you always Asian and you just met the right person, or what was the
Absolutely
feeling?
just meeting the right person. I did
Yeah.
not, care who and what and where you're from, what color, what ethnicity. It does not
Okay.
matter to me. The
But it
opportunity
just
in
happened you were
college.
dating all Asians.
Well,
Yeah.
in college is different. In college,
Okay.
being like I said, just like you guys, being in a high school is predominantly white. Once I got into college, a lot of my buddies were in fraternities. They tried to rush and all that. They tried to get me into it. I just wasn't feeling it. So I purposely decided to just go to their parties, but I wanted to just be on my own. So I joined this Asian American Student Union that
Oh, there you
my
go.
friends they actually created it when I think the year before us or 2 years before
Hmm.
us. And one of the guys is my best friend today. Two of my best friends, so and such. And so, I end up being really involved in that organization. And I can say for a fact that I literally do not have one Caucasian friend that I keep in touch with from college. I have Caucasian
Okay.
friends that went to KU today, but
Yeah.
they were
But
not the
not
guys
from
that I
that
hang out with,
time.
kept in touch with, or whatnot. Zero. You know,
Huh.
Only Asian Jayhawks.
yes, only Asian Jayhawks. I mean, it's kind of like a fraternity if you want to be honest about it, right?
Yeah.
So we
That's
had,
funny.
I was involved in the International Student Union as well. I worked at the minority Office of Minority Affairs as a student assistant. So I was just really into the minority side of the college,
So
environment.
what about now? Now that we've married a Caucasian person, and so are you like are all your friends still Asian, or does it end
Mostly,
up mixing? Yeah.
no, absolutely, mostly Asian. I Ken and
So are you
Joe,
pulling your wife to the
Anthony.
Asian side, or is she
Yeah,
pulling you
well,
to?
it's if they want to be,
Yeah.
out, it's what it is. So it
Yeah.
doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. But yeah, my friends are still predominantly Asian. Predominantly.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And so let's see. You
Oh.
said your kids were 3 and 7, I think you said, right?
Yes, yes, yeah, that's right.
So how does the culture? Do they speak any Mandarin or anything? Do you guys do the Chinese culture with them?
Sadly, no.
Greek culture?
Sadly, no.
Greek
But
culture. Yeah, I
yeah,
like Greek
well,
culture.
not well, my son's name is Cosmo, so it's kind of Greekish.
There you go. That's true.
I was
That's
gonna
not
say
very
the
Asian
only I
sounding.
actually know a person named Cosmo, and that person was Asian. That's the only person I know. So it's actually
Oh,
a Greek name?
well, Cosmos is Greek, right?
Oh.
But we were both big Seinfeld fans. So,
Yeah, yeah. I was about to
Oh
say that's the
God.
only Cosmo I know is
yeah,
from,
Oh,
Kramer.
I
Cosmo
totally
Kramer,
forgot about
right?
that.
We're both
Cosmo
Yeah.
big Seinfeld
Kramer.
fans, and it fit his Chinese name, which is kind of like his Chinese name that my dad gave my son is kind of like the
Okay.
protector of good, And so we wanted a universal name. So I'm like, well, the universe would be Cosmos. Why don't we just call him
Yeah.
Cosmo?
Yeah.
That's awesome
Fit
name.
everything. So I kind of just fit.
So he has a Chinese name. Well, that's cool. That's a
Yeah.
start, I guess.
Yeah.
And so do you guys do any culture stuff with them? Are they taking any Chinese classes or anything?
They don't because the school doesn't offer it right now for the elementary school. But if I can, I would. But it's tough. Like
Yeah.
my parents aren't. They don't live here. I don't have
Yeah.
any other Chinese speaking family. They're
Super
nearby, so
hard.
it's tough to speak it
Really
at
hard.
home. Yeah,
Yeah.
just non-existent. So I'm fluent in Taiwanese and Mandarin. Obviously I
Oh,
grew up.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
so I try to like teach little things or little nuances to my kids, but it doesn't work very well.
Do you ever take
Yeah.
them back? Do you ever take them back?
I do tell them they're Asian though all the time. I was like, you're Asian.
Okay.
Hey, remember
But they
that.
have that cool Hapa look, right? The
I
mix.
I
That's
guess
probably
so.
awesome. It's probably a
Guess
very nice
so.
blend. There you
I
go.
hope so.
Do you ever
Yeah.
take them back to Taiwan or China?
Not yet, but the plan is someday, of course, but my,
Okay.
my daughter's only three and a half. It would ruin the
Yeah.
experience, I think, I want them to be able to remember it,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll wait a little bit.
So it sounds like they're pretty much American kids then. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe they
very,
look a little
very.
Asian, but they're full on American.
Yeah, very,
Are they
very.
though, on the half where you can, because I know some that are half, but they could literally just get away with not even like people wouldn't even know that they're Asian, just
Yeah.
depending on
Yeah, do they
on the
look more
mix.
Asian or do they look
Do
My
yours?
my
more
Yeah.
Greek?
daughter looks more Asian, and my son
Okay.
is I don't think he looks at that Asian, but obviously people, the funny thing is white people or Caucasians will always think that the kids look Asian, but the Asian,
Yeah, they're like that kid. He looks all white.
he looks all whight. You know what I
He
mean?
looks all white. Like,
Yeah,
because I see
that's not a
some and I'm
dynamic
like,
there.
that kid's never gonna have to like get teased because like they doesn't even show, you know.
Right,
But
right.
That's funny.
I could tell, obviously. So,
yeah, yeah, you'll see both you and your wife
right,
and
right.
your kids for sure. Hey, and did I see your profile pic was Bruce Lee?
Oh
Did
yeah.
Oh, damn.
I-
You should have told me, Wayne.
Dude,
I'm a diehard.
I definitely was like, I saw your profile pic was Bruce Lee, and I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know if you know anything about Hansel and I. I mean, we like worship Bruce Lee, love Bruce Lee.
you're preaching
We
to the
actually got
choir.
to meet Shannon, his daughter,
Oh
at
wow.
for a quick selfie pic, kind of at
Yeah.
one of the Warriors games.
I'm
Yeah.
a I'm a fanatic. You know what
So
I
you
mean?
grew up
Yeah.
in Kansas with the nunchucks like us, just like living.
Everybody that's
You
that's
know
a
all of
that's a
his
house
movies?
that's a
You know all,
staple, of course. I mean,
yeah, that's what we were thinking. But sometimes we get some people on the podcast and it's like they don't follow Bruce Lee. And we're like, but
that is
wait, you're Asian?
crazy.
And if you're around 50 years old, like at
Yeah.
least our age, because in the 70s,
And I say this
Yeah.
about Asian men, is that um believe it or not, like I said, I'm hardcore Asian, pro-Asian men to a point where I believe that if he was still alive today, or gone through the movies or whatnot and continue that path, Asian men would not be looked upon as weak or physically
Mm.
inferior or
Yeah, yeah,
asexual.
yeah.
not non-sexual appealing,
Yeah,
the way
pretty
we grew
much.
up when people thought about that. Like you said earlier, Asian women, I mean, shit, they're like
Oh, they're,
exotic or a cat,
yeah,
whatever.
exotic, everything.
What do
Asian men,
Asian men get to
horrible.
shaft, dude? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I really felt like had he been around, because he's not just a martial arts actor. He really is just a pure actor. It's just
Yeah,
right.
that
he transcended
he
everything.
started
Yeah.
out in that, martial arts movies and he
Absolutely.
pioneered for it. But trust me, I believe that based on all the stuff we watched, he would have eventually gravitated toward more mainstream, movie
He
stuff.
was. He
You know,
definitely.
so he would have transcend, to me, in my opinion, how Asian men would have been depicted today, or even back then when we were growing up. Because I was
Yeah.
disappointed that, growing up in like, Alabama, Iowa, Kansas, it ain't that different, man.
Yeah.
Women there don't really think that highly of Asian men. When I'm
No, they
sexy and you
don't.
got three, calculators in everybody's backpack, you got a pocketbook,
Yeah,
you're in the orchestra, you're good at math,
you're
so
right.
there's just no a visual appeal or sexual appeal, at all. And that's
Agree.
where the confidence, gets shot when I was growing up. And so I gravitated towards only Asian women. So if you ask me that question is, I felt more accepted with Asian women, obviously. And so
Yeah.
I just want to be accepted. That's it.
Yeah.
And then that's why I
Yeah.
predominantly dated only Asian women growing up. or in kite.
Yeah, what this world would have been like if Bruce would have kept
You know,
Kung Fu and man.
Man, there's a book
okay.
right there. That's a
Yeah,
movie. What the world would be like if Bruce were
I
alive?
think so,
Yeah, a
man.
little fan
You
fiction.
know?
So I listened to this I used to listen to this podcast by on NPR, and I can't think of it anymore, but it was from that guy. I think his name is Guy something, but he talks about all these startups, and he always asked them in the end, is it luck or skill in terms of the where how they got to where they were. So Jimmy, like what's your summary of that? Like you got to a pretty cool place owning five businesses. Is it luck or skill?
Oh,
Or
it's
or is
it's
it
a
just
huge
balls?
it's
Like,
huge
Yeah, it's
combination.
just
It's
big
a
balls.
huge combination of both. Absolutely.
okay.
You got it. You
Yeah.
can't have, you know, you can have all the skill and want you have in the world, but if you don't have luck or more like opportunity, right? So luck is what they say always like when preparations meets opportunity. That's luck.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
love that.
cliche, right? So, yeah, I mean, I'm very, very fortunate you know, to have the opportunity came to me, and
Yeah, but you got to have that skill also, given that opportunity. You got to be able to get in there and do something with it as well.
yeah,
So it's a little bit of both. That's a cop-out answer, man.
come
Pick a
on, you
thing.
need you need both. You need both, man. It's like I said, having all the skills in the world, like I said, if you don't have a place to use it, what's it good for?
Yeah.
I'm with that too. I
Yes.
mean, you can be brilliant, working hard, have the greatest product, but then you
Right,
got to have a little bit of that luck, the
right.
timing, and things that you
Yeah.
can't control.
Or whatever you don't have, you meet the person that has it to bring you along, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
and it just
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Like you
Yeah.
guys,
Is there
reason,
anything?
you know?
Yeah, go ahead. What
So
were you
I'm
gonna
saying
say?
you guys are a team for a reason, you know what I mean? It balances,
Yeah,
and I'm
it
sure
just
you
works.
guys are grateful to have each other, and then that's why you guys have a successful business on your own as well, right? So
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I
definitely.
mean, if you were to ask us that question, luck or skill, I'd be like, luck, 100%. We're
Yeah.
talking about like we got in the right place exactly at the right time. We were like, oh, cool. This is a
but see,
lot
now you're
easier
Right
than we
selling
thought.
timing.
yourself short because I can tell obviously you guys have the right skills
No,
to
we
do
got
what
no
you guys
skills
are
at
doing
all. Our
today, right?
skills
Yeah,
We all
is
yeah.
like to not it's a humble brag, right? So we want to
That's
make
why,
sure that
yeah.
we
That's why
stay
we're doing the
humble.
podcast. We don't know anything about
Yeah.
coding.
Well, that's good stuff, man. You
Yeah.
know?
All right. Well, so I guess I'll ask you one last question about your sort of business life. Do you ever think back and think is there anything that you wish you would have done differently?
Um, to be honest with you, no. Because everything happens for a reason. You have to have mistakes in life to be able to learn from them. Very
Yeah.
few people learns from success by itself, right?
Mm,
Like, what do you learn from winning? As much as, and again, that's a cliche things to say, but you learn so much more from losing and failing than you
yeah.
do from winning and succeeding. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for a thing because if I didn't fail at something else or made mistakes of doing something else, I wouldn't have corrected it and learned from it to be better. And without being worse, you're not going to know better. So that's just my take. So
Yeah. I love that. Wayne and I talk about that a lot. It's like, so, we're all football fans. I know you're a huge Chiefs fan. Let's
Yeah.
cheers for you. But,
Enjoy
winning,
it. Enjoy it.
yeah, enjoy it well less. In the
hopefully,
NFL, it's like winning breeds laziness, right? I mean,
yeah,
when you win, you're just like, oh, cool, I'm doing fine. But it's when you
right.
lose that you go back and you do another game plan and all that stuff. Wayne and I talk about that for our schools. Maybe you think of it that way for your business is when our schools are just kicking butt and there's tons of students, we just look at it and we're like, whatever, who cares? It's
Yeah.
doing fine. But when it starts coming down, that's when we actually start thinking about improving all the processes and stuff.
Yeah. The oh
So
shit moments.
yeah,
Right,
exactly.
exactly. And you want to ideally obviously catch them before it's too late, right? So if it's 3 months
Yeah,
later, it might be too late.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it takes upkeeping, like what you guys, I'm sure you guys do that, and then see what the trend is, see what the sales or like you said, a progress, if it's dipping, find out why, catch it early. All that kind of stuff matters into a successful business like how you guys run it. So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot more incentive to look at it though if we're already failing. Otherwise, we just kind of be
Right,
like,
right. Then
have two
it's
ways to
just
look at
total,
it.
yeah. But like with you, I mean, you've got so much of a variety from a salon to coffee to a print shop. I mean, are
yeah.
they like one of them's probably always needing some attention, I would think, but
They all need
you
attention.
know.
I mean, that's just a
Yeah.
fact. They all need attention. But again, I have amazing staff. My wife is working, she's the master stylist at her salon, obviously. So she's got clients today. Like I said, our bake shop is running, our print shop is running. The two that I'm more hands-on are the coffee shop, obviously, and I have a great a manager there, and she's my equity partner too. Promote her to that level, I guess. And then the laundromat. So I'm
Yeah.
involved in those two.
Well, I think I can attest to your partners doing a great job because you had to reschedule to play golf. So right there, that to
Hey,
me is like you've got good partners and things
I,
are going
let
pretty
me
well.
preface that by saying I'm not young. At
Yeah.
50 years old, I think I've
Yeah.
earned some type of leisure time to some degree.
Oh,
Most
heck yeah.
definitely.
It's
Most
all about the
definitely.
balance, right? So like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's why we do what we do too. It's
right.
not just the work, but it's what it creates to give you the flexibility.
And we really emphasize that with our employees also. I really do. We work hard and play hard. I close every year for 3 days to a week or whatever for my staff. I took everybody to Disneyland. You see this shirt that I made? I
Oh,
took all my
yeah.
Nice.
staff. I
Disney
made this
thing.
shirt at
Yeah,
my
yeah,
print
yeah.
shop with the
Awesome.
Disney.
Well, you have a print shop, so you can
Yeah.
print those for
So
free.
I print those and I took everybody to Disneyland at my coffee shop one year, and then we went
Wow,
to
good for you.
Universal Studios another
That is
year
awesome.
and stuff.
Oh,
So,
that's killing it.
we want to make sure that we enjoy the people that we work with ideally. Does that always happen? No, absolutely not. But, we do what we can and we want to make sure that the journey matters more than, the end. So,
Yeah. Good for you, man. Sounds like you're doing it right. Well, congratulations, man. One of these days you'll have to take us to Disneyland too.
well, you're
Yeah.
welcome anytime.
Oh,
Free
all right,
t-shirts.
Wayne, let's throw out that offensive sound effect that we
All
always like.
right. Woo!
All right, it's the gong. It's
The
the
Asian
gong. All
gong.
right, this is not the
Asian
gong
gong.
show, but it is part of the podcast where we talk about your Asianness and how Asian you are. We're going to throw out some random questions for you. I did cater them to your sort of small business kind of ish mindset. So
Yeah.
let's see how Asian you are, and let's see how many of these you know. All right. So this first one, Wayne, I'm sure you don't know it, and maybe you know it, Jimmy, but so China's largest boba tea chain is called Mi Shui, as in
Yeah.
honey snow. I don't know.
I'm
Have
already
you heard of
checking
Mi
out.
Shui?
I'm already checking out.
Have you heard of it, Jimmy?
I have not.
Okay,
That's
so
in
it's
China,
China's.
though, you said.
It's in China, not Taiwan. Yeah, so
Okay.
China's largest boba tea chain, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so multiple choice question. How many units do they have? Do they have A, 7,000 units, B, a
Ooh.
20,000 units, or C, a 45,000 units?
I'm gonna
And I'll give
say
you a clue first.
Yeah.
It is as big as you think it might be.
I'm gonna say 45,000 units.
45,000. That is correct, sir. That is insane. So to give everybody perspective on that, McDonald's is like 43,000.
Yeah.
Really?
And I mean, this so
More
right now
than
this is the
McDonald's.
biggest, and Starbucks is about 40,000. So this is the largest, I guess, fast food chain or whatever in the world. And I've never heard of it. They don't. I don't
Is
think
it
they have
only
it
in
here.
China? Do they have any in the United States or no?
I don't think in the States, but they have it in other parts of, like Singapore and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So Misha, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
So like I did look up though, the biggest one in the United States is Kung Fu Tea. Have you guys
Yeah.
heard of Kung Fu Tea? I've
No.
seen them
Is
around.
is it not-
Because you told me about it, I think at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah, but they only have 350.
Oh my gosh.
So
Wow.
man, there's some crazy stuff going on in China. Bistro. Anyway, that's the next place I'm going when I go to China. Check that place
Tell me
out. All right. Next question is more of a, I guess there could be a right answer, but it is whatever answer you think. So you live in the Clement area. So where would you rather eat? At a hole in the wall Chinatown restaurant where there's, it's kind of dirty on the side. You see the guy chopping the duck in the back and there's grease everywhere. Would you eat at one of those or would you rather go to Panda Express at the mall?
Well, it depends on if I'm with my family or not.
Oh, that's a good question. All right, so what are the two different answers? One by yourself and one with your family.
If I'm by myself, come on, man. There's no question the hole in the wall place.
The hole in the wall.
Yeah.
I grew up in Taiwan, man. I'm a street food guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There you go.
They use one bucket to wash all the dishes. You know, one bucket with soap to wash all the dishes for the rest of the night. Right?
Oh,
That's
hilarious.
how, that's how iron stomach I have growing up in
Yeah.
Taiwan. So
But
I
not
am
your family, I guess.
Immunity.
I guess your
Building
family
that
would probably,
immunity.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess your family would probably be on the toilet if you took him to one of those
No
things.
question. No question.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious. All right. All right. This last question is more of a trivia question. If either of you guys know this, I would be stunned, but it is multiple choice. What is the origin of the Chinese takeout box, which is invented by an American from Chicago, by the way? You know that the white box that folds up that for Chinese takeout.
Very
So is
interesting.
it is it A, that inventor's kid was doing origami and he decided to make it into a box? B, originally for taking oysters home because it needed a easy box to throw oysters in? Or C, is it adapted from a kung fu weapon in China?
What the hell?
Hmm. I'm gonna say
Uh,
A.
you're gonna say A? It is not A. That is the
Yeah,
most obvious one.
I was gonna eliminate A right off the
Ah.
bat.
It is
Then
actually a random. Yeah, Wayne, you were gonna say.
I was gonna go for probably B because that's just the good
That
guess.
is, it is correct. B is correct. Originally for taking
There we go.
oysters home.
Oh,
That's
wow.
just complete trivia in case you're eating Chinese food and somebody goes, I
Oysters.
wonder where that came from.
Mm.
Chinese oysters. There you go.
Apparently, it's an oyster pail after World War II. It got somehow got converted into using it for Chinese takeout. I don't know. That was a random, interesting trivia. Anyway, completely random. Hopefully, somebody learned something from that Haru section. By the way, I don't know, Jimmy, if you know that we actually have a Haru quiz online. If you're really interested in knowing how Asian you are, you can
Oh
jump
yeah,
onto our website
Can
and check it
take
out.
that.
I'll have to check it out
Um,
then.
but anyway, so let's wrap up with this podcast with Jimmy. What is your life tip that you would give to the audience?
So I was thinking, I thought about this for a little bit because I want to obviously try to come up with a one thing, right? But to
Mm,
be honest with you, I mean, I don't want to sound like a cop-out answer, but it's never just one thing. It's never just one thing. You may think it's one thing, but let's say you know, say be kind. Well, just being kind without the skills not going to get you where it is to your life anyway. So you got to
Very
have so
true.
many things. I wrote down like, you got to be, empathetic, you got to be generous in life, you got to be considerate, you got to be aware, be kind, all that stuff. But you got to
mm,
have all of it. If you want to do what you want to do down the road, you better be that guy to be able to be all of it. Or women, whatever. So you gotta maybe be flexible, be adaptable. But I guess I'm just naming off more things,
yeah,
So
Right, right.
just having
Yeah.
one, honestly, is not enough. But if you want to start somewhere, I would say you gotta be accountable to yourself, to others.
mm,
That's probably the best start that you can have,
yeah.
to get to where you want to go.
Well, this coming from the mind of the guy who's running five businesses at once, I guess that
Yeah.
makes a lot of
I would
sense.
take heed to it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I guess
Great
what you're trying to
advice.
tell people is don't just listen to this one life tip, but listen to every one of our podcast episodes
Hey,
to get
Yeah,
all of the
very
that's
good.
life
right.
tips,
All
Highly
of
combine them
them.
recommended.
together.
Highly
They all
recommended.
matter.
It's never
Yeah.
just one guy that to me. So I've had again great, amazing influences and friends and people that are in my life to get me to where I am today. So it's never like
Yeah.
it's at least for me, it's not self-made. How's that? I don't believe that.
Yeah. No, it's about everybody else. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a great point. I mean, I'm sitting in my basement too often doing my work. I need to get out there and do some more networking, man, meet some more people. But that's what life is about. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
well, Jimmy, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. You have such an amazing life. Congrats, man. I love the whole story arc of just coming to San Francisco with no money, and then now, boom, five businesses. I love it, man. Congratulations for everything you've done,
Thank you
man.
very much. Again,
Yeah. Congrats.
thank you for having me. All right, best of luck, fellas.
We are sponsored by none other than the Coder School, a company that teaches kids how to code with over 70 locations all around the country. So if you're interested in getting your kids to code, head online and check us out. Learn to code, change the world. Thanks for listening.